Okay, go ahead.
And I think our position in this moment in the general overall reflects exactly position where we are now with our preparation, and
So if you prepared to about 5th place.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
and
that's fair.
It's funny for us watching the other boat with our friends or our sailor, but when we are on the water, we are not friends, absolutely.
But you're happy.
No prisoner.
You're happy for them.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So that'll bring us to something a little stickier, and maybe what first really got your attention of Sailing Anarchy, which is you sailed for your first ever Far 40 World Championships 2 months ago in Miami, right?
Yeah.
And really what is the most competitive big boat fleet there is by far. Maybe as competitive as the Melges 24, maybe more. You know, with more money, and because of the more money, there is every top America's Cup tactician and sailor pretty much out there, as well as some of the top Olympians, but more of the America's Cup and the tactics and the strategists that are just brilliant, and who have been doing this for their entire lives. You guys came in there and won, or at least won on points, but you walked into Miami against teams that have been sailing the Far 40 for 10 years or 8 years or whatever it is, and you walked in and you were right in it until the last day. An incident at the windward mark happened, and you guys still went around and won the regatta, but after a protest, you were thrown out. Now, you and I spoke about this for just a second, but after that, it was sort of, you know, that news was reported. I know, like, I personally spoke to a few of the people on the jury, as well as some of the other sailors, to find out what they thought happened, and felt like it sounded like what was heard and what the jury decided is what most of the people that I spoke to told me happened. No big deal. It happened. It's too bad that it happens that way, but so on. About a week later, you came out with a letter that you wrote and posted on your website. And that letter, to me, sounded like you were very frustrated, very sad for your team, very angry at possibly feeling like maybe you shouldn't have been tossed, you shouldn't have been DSQ'd. But it was a very public action, calling possibly the objectivity of some of the jury members into question in public when that objection was never made at the hearing. And I think you got called out on Sailing Anarchy for doing something that why if you didn't bring it up in the hearing, why would you go and write it on a website? So talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I divided the story in 2 parts. The first part is on the water story, and the other part in the protest room. Before the start, the World Championship, during the skipper meeting, the Mr. Reggio and race committee in generally, speaking very well, we have some tender with the jury on the water. They have a whistle, and when they whistle is okay, we take a penalty when they exponing the red flag, and when they exponing the red and white flag, they see and they are the witness. And this is the rule during the World Championships Far 40. When we are in the first mark and the wind mark at the 9 races, the last day, probably we take a big risk. Our maneuver is out of the rules. It's probably. But we are very fighting with Bucky Med. When we are around the mark, we see Bucky Med, Hyper Terry Hutchison. He said, hey Mr. Maspero, Age of Fly, we don't protest, but if Mascalzone protests, we protest. They don't open the red flag. We see very well, we have to tender with the jury on the water, they don't whistle, they don't expone the flag. Why we take a penalty? It's not easy to take this decision. But I understand, our maneuver probably is out of the rule. I don't contest it. And Mascalzone in this race arrived 1 position in front of us. Mascalzone protesting.
Protest barking mad.
No, protest directly
Protest
us
directly to you.
with the third party.
Third party protest.
The rule permitted. It's not fair, but the rule permitted. This is correct. Okay. After this, we finished the last races. We won on the water, but we understand the situation is not finished. On the ground, I watch Mr. John Costecchi, a tactician, and he decided we protest, the Mascalzone protest us, and he's very confident to win the protest. I don't understand why, because I remember the rule on the water is the jury whistle. No penalty, no infraction, no penalty. For us on the water, they don't decide nothing, and it's not easy, I think, in the protest room, convince the jury when the jury on the water have a different opinion. But in any case, our tactician, Checco Bruni, go on the protest room, and I don't understand who is the jury committee. Normally, the fly style is we don't protest, normally. And I don't read who is the jury, who is the president. I'm not political man, I'm sportive man. And when I go for sailing, I go for passion, not for political, I have to understand that. And Checco go in the protest room, and he probably take a mistake, because when he understand who is the president of jury and the other member of jury, he have of the possibility for okay, I don't want this jury, and this is our mistake. But at this moment, I don't know this situation, because I'm out of the protest.
And you're not used to doing this either. You don't do this all the time.
No.
Like John Costecchi, if he thinks that there's a chance that the jury might be a little, the first thing he's going to do is say, well, okay, this is not acceptable.
Yeah. And okay, the jury decided for disqualify us. Checco called 2 times. Why is possible this? Mr. Ullman, the president of the jury, and because you broken the rule. Yes, I broken the rules probably, but the jury on the water don't whistle, and back in Madison open the red flag. It's not easy. We take the decision to take a penalty without this. We are in the World Championships. We are very fighting with Mascalzone. It's not easy.
If you had taken a turn there, would you have won the World Championship?
Probably yes, but this is another story. And
I know.
The sport is not correct.
But look, the truth is what you say makes sense. I understand. Why you were disqualified, and so do you. But the truth is, you did really well, and you guys should probably be proud of it.
I understand some. When I read the letter and I put on the website, yes, I'm sad, and especially because I watch my guys crying, and it's not easy moment for me, for the guys. It's not easy. We decide we continue in this class, we continue with this sport, because in Italian sport, especially in the football, in the last year, some terrible situation appear. It's not sportive situation, but for different interests. And last year in Italian media, we read, we watch sometimes Mr. Vincenzo Norato have a terrible words for Alinghi team, and very good words for BMW Oracle, and John Costecchi is the tactician, and Mr. Ullman and other guys. It's not easy. I trust normally every people, but it's not easy. We have said con leggerezza. It's not easy for me, especially for me, accept this decision without the problem. And this letter is for defend my crew, for defend in general
Joe Fly fans.
Yes, and the transparency, because I think